And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 587. Today is August 5th, Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. I'm King here to bring you, I don't know what Bitcoin Day says right now. I don't know. I'm out of it right now. Here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, most days at 10ish. Today's top stories. 100% of Chainlink addresses are currently in profit. Bitcoin will get stronger after crisis, says U.S. Congressman Emmer. Alleged 17-year-old Twitter hack mastermind pleads not guilty. Deceived crypto investors launched their own scam to recoup losses. And Square reports 600% increase in quarterly Bitcoin revenue. A lot going on here. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and check out these prices. I'm loading these up right now. Bitcoin Day is running around town handling business per usual. So I'll be with you the rest of this week. It looks like Bitcoin is coming in at $11,661.91, up 4.51%. Ethereum's at $397.24, up 2.88%. Ripple is at 30 cents. Good gracious, it has come a long way in the last couple months, up 1.86%. Stellar is down 0.20%, excuse me, at 10 cents. Chainlink is at $9.47, up 0.57%. Let's see. I know people like hearing about Litecoin, $58.95, up 2.82%. So on average, we're looking at about 2 to 3% gains across the board. Almost everything is in green. Everything that's in red are just have small dips, as you see, 1%, 7.78%, 0.2%. So not a lot of big drops there. So that is good to see for the market. You remember last time I said bull run or not? It looks like right now we are in a mini bull run. Of course, for some, this isn't really a bull run. If, of course, you entered the market toward the end of 2017, you are probably still down right now. But this is a good sign for the market, especially if this stimulus package gets approved here in the next week or so. We might see this thing pump up even further. I don't see the stimulus package not getting approved any longer since, during recess right now, we know Congress is still meeting to get this thing done. So they're coming in on their own time, even though it's taxpayer time. But they're going in to get that stimulus package approved. So I don't know. We might see this price slip in a week or two if they don't get it approved once people run out of that check money. But if it does get approved in the next week or two, we could see this thing pump up, and it may be enough once we get to that $12,000 to $13,000 mark. Again, from that percentage game wise, it may be enough to start seeing Bitcoin start ticking again, where you start seeing 13.3, 13.6, 14, 14.2, 14.4. So we'll see how quickly that happens, or if it happens again. To even get to 12.5, 12.6 psychologically is a big point. Excuse me, 12,800 is a huge one too. I mean, so still big milestones in between then. And again, right now a lot of people are living check to check, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, a new mouse. What's going on? Tony Nolly, Cornelius Broadnick, Jizzy Mac, Lucky Lloyd, A. Kent, Harold George, Tiffany from New York. Ripple is taking off. Mally Toxic Frog Juice, Madam Crypto, hola, hola, hola. All right, 100% of Chainlink addresses are currently in profit. That is right. So they have a weird way of explaining this. You can check out the whole article on Cointelegraph. But this is basically about Chainlink's bull run. It has created a abnormal situation where its entire supply is currently profitable, according to an intelligence firm Into the Block. Basically, this story sums it up as, if you have purchased Chainlink at any price before right now, you are up, like fully up. And they're saying right now almost every address which had previously done that is officially up. And of course, they're not just saying in the last 10 minutes or whatever. They're actually talking about the comparison between the asset's current price and the price at which it was acquired. They're saying the current price is higher than it is in the money. If it is lower, then it is out the money. And if it's the same, then it is at the money. So they're saying right now it is higher. And yeah, if you own Chainlink, congrats to you. You are on a wild bull run right now. We know you guys had some slippage a week or so ago where you came down. But again, Chainlink's at $9.47. And they look to be continuing to do this pump. We'll see what happens with it. Yeah, congrats to everyone who got with the Chainlink. Wire Sparks, at what price do you think Coinbase will have a shutdown? What do you mean Coinbase? Oh, what price of Bitcoin? I think about 13 to 14,000. Once we start entering the $14,000 range, Coinbase will have that maintenance. They have to go under for a day or two to kind of see what direction we go, see if they can suppress that price a little bit longer. But yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. Then if we break the all-time high or get anywhere close to a 17 to 20, a 16 to 20, you better guarantee Coinbase is going down. Don't be surprised if a new one goes down as well. All right, Bitcoin is back in the news. This time is good news. Bitcoin will get stronger after crisis, says U.S. Congressman Emmer. Looks like United States Representative Tom Emmer is confident about the bright future of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. The largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is not going away once the ongoing financial crisis subsides. United States Representative Tom Emmer, representative out of Minnesota, believes. He is a known industry advocate, and he's being quoted as saying, as we come out of the crisis, Bitcoin ain't going away. It's going to get stronger, the congressman said during an August 3rd interview with co-founder of Morgan Creek Digital, Anthony Pompliano. You know, he has a popular podcast, Bitcoin Zay's been on it with Bitcoin in Black America as well. So shout out to Pomp. This is something that's good to see. I mean, it's good to see that even at a congressional level now, even though they don't talk about it publicly, these conversations are happening. They're not stupid people. They see the price of Bitcoin too. Some of them have invested in it. People know about it. And they understand, you know, economics as a whole. So they understand how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency plays a part into our government, even though they don't talk about it publicly. So it's good to see that he actually comes on these platforms. And this is kind of him telling the people like, yeah, we're paying attention. We know this is happening. And again, I think this is a positive thing. This is one of those base hits to say that Bitcoin is creeping closer and closer to the mainstream audience. Another thing, I'm glad to see that Cointelegraph has this misspell here because everyone makes mistakes, right? We always joke about it. But I want to point that out because I would have mispronounced that. You all would have blamed it on me. I know it now. And of course, this article also points back to U.S. banks now being officially authorized to have Bitcoin and cryptocurrency custody. Again, between those things, you got the banks, and now you got the congressmen, the congressional people on board. You get the regulators on board. It looks like we are about to be going full crypto in the year 2021 and so forth. So we'll see what happens with that. Lucky Lloyd said, I keep telling my family and friends about crypto. They think it's a scam. They won't say that when I'm cashing out millions. Well, I mean, honestly, when it's worth millions, though, you won't even cash it out. That's the crazy thing about it, right? You just have way more than they could ever imagine. Oh, my goodness. We have to cover this story. Alleged 17-year-old Twitter hack mastermind pleads not guilty. That is right. It was a 17-year-old mastermind, as they're calling it. First of all, if we have masterminds amongst us, we don't need to arrest them, people. All right, we got to put them to work. We have to put them to work. But it looks like on Tuesday during a court hearing in Hillsborough Circuit Court, the mastermind of the Twitter hack pleaded not guilty. Graham Ivan Clark, the 17-year-old resident of Tampa, Florida, who is accused of leading the hack of several celebrity Twitter accounts, pleaded not guilty to all allegations on Tuesday in Hillsborough Circuit Court. According to a report from Tampa Bay Times, prosecutors have pressed 30 charges against Clark for which he may be sentenced for 200 years in prison. One more time, prosecutors have pressed 30 charges against Clark for which he may be sentenced to 200 years in prison. The court documents received by the news outlet accused Clark of 17 counts of communications fraud, 11 counts of illegal use of personal information, 1 count of organized fraud over $5,000, and 1 count of illegally accessing a computer or electronic device. Clark is presently in jail on a $725,000 bail, and his bail hearing is scheduled for August 5th today, where his attorneys are expected to argue for a reduction in the bail amount. Clark, along with 22-year-old Nima Fazeli of Orlando and Mason Shepard, 19 of United Kingdom, allegedly helped him to carry out that hack. Again, that was about 130 people on Twitter, including Elon Musk, Barack Obama, Apple, Joe Biden, and some other people. Now, let's get to this. I mean, the most obvious thing. This is, oh my goodness, his name, Ross Albrecht. This is the same thing Ross Albrecht got. This is what his mom's fighting for his freedom for. Lynn Albrecht, who's doing a great job. Ross Albrecht received a double life sentence for having an online website. Here you have a 17-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 19-year-old who are intelligent enough to hack Twitter and hack these accounts. All right, before I even get to the prison term and the years that they're trying to give this kid, let's get to the obvious right now. It's a shame that social media has, I can't even think of the word, infiltrated, I guess, adults in the government the same way they claim it has high school and middle school kids, right? Social media doesn't matter. But because Twitter accounts of presidents or companies were hacked and some tweets got sent out, and I think that, you know, he scammed people for about $117,000, which in the world of crypto scams isn't a lot, people. I can tell you that personally for how much we've been scammed. So you know what I mean? So you're talking about some kids who scammed people for $117,000 and went on Twitter and sent some tweets, and you're talking about giving them 200 years in prison. And this is, so people ask about the protests and riots. This is the crazy thing. They're talking about just overall regulation and reform in general. That is absurd. There are literally rapists and murderers getting less years than 200 years, right? Or as of now, we're talking about this pedophile ring that's all about. You know, maybe I'm about to get our YouTube channel canceled finally. We see what happens, right? But these people aren't getting 200 years. And you're talking about a 17-year-old with the possibility of 200 years because he hacked some Twitter names and made off with $117,000. I mean, how much did JP Morgan Chase make out with every year? How much did the Wells Fargo team make off with when they created those, 1,500 or 5,000 fake accounts and started loading them up with money and stuff? So, I mean, really, this is crazy to see. This is where we're at. But these are the things that have to be highlighted because in the digital space, especially in the digital space, these are the type of regulators, these are the type of laws, and these are the type of punishments. This is what they're coming after you with. And this space is this, it runs parallel to crypto. So, you know, this is not okay. This is crazy to see. I can't believe in 2020 this is even a possibility that, you know, the judge really saying you hack people on Twitter, we're going to give you 200 years. But that's a possibility. So, you know, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that. But it's just one of those things to put in perspective. And hey, that's why I live my life, people. Everybody's always worried about following the laws or doing what some adults from 200 years ago told you to do. Good luck with that. But those same people think that internet people should get 200 years in prison, while actual people who can commit physical crimes or actually kill you get way less than that. So it doesn't make any sense at all. Let's see some comments right now. Yeah, Cozy Josie said, whoa. What's up, Trek PFC Will? So the only reason I'm paying attention to that senator is because he's for privacy. Cornelius Broadnick, what's going on? 200 years? I know, right? Wire Sparks, 200 years. They're trying to put him in the cell with Ross Albrecht. Exactly. Yeah, that's actually, technically that's less time than Ross got. Ross got a double life sentence. And again, for those who don't know, that's that Silk Road case. Ross Albrecht made Silk Road. It was used to trade all types of goods. Of course, infamously, it was used to trade drugs and weapons, of course, for some people. But Ross was just a website owner, and we can actually see the things mirrored right now where it was a big bust from the two guys from Costa Rica that happened today or yesterday, where they're being arrested for transferring up to $272 million of drugs on the dark web. And they arrested those guys using good old-fashioned police work. Those guys were being paid in Bitcoin, so that, of course, that made a big deal. But those people were using the websites. The website owner didn't have anything to do with it. It was the same as Craigslist or Backpage with all the prostitution that was going on Backpage. Do you arrest the Backpage owner or the Craigslist owner, or do you arrest the people doing it? So Ross Albrecht got 2 life sentences for that. Really, what it really was about, people, was the fact that Bitcoin was becoming a way to actually transact goods, and they were going around the U.S. federal government without paying taxes. That's right. If you're making billions of dollars or multi-millions, almost $1 billion, as Ross Albrecht may have possibly been, and you're not paying the U.S. government, you know what time it is. That is really why he got the double life sentence. And I think this happened while he was living in California and he was tried in New York City. So again, that made no sense as well. And PFC Wells, speaking of that, is saying this story isn't making any sense at all. That's a traditional method of prosecution through a bunch of stuff, and we see what sticks to the wall. Exactly. Yeah, Wall Street doesn't even get this type of prosecution. It's crazy, right? Anthony Kent, right? It's all about sending a message. Obviously, that is true. It's all about sending a message. They want other people, again, to know in the digital space. And this is why it's about sending these messages in the digital space. They're not smart people. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I get it. You know, I'm kind of blunt. I'm candid. So people hear that and get, you know, angry about it. You know, I say these people aren't smart. It's the truth. And here's the truth, too. The average 5-year-old kid is probably smarter than me at this point, right? When it comes to computers and technology. I mean, they're growing up at 2 years old with iPads. They will be smarter than all of us. They should be. So I say that because the government is getting pissed off that 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and 22-year-olds are smarter than them in companies and can do things like hack into some of the biggest companies out there. They're pissed off that they can't control it, that they're smarter than them. And the only way to stop them, since they can't actually go in and find these people themselves, is to set these type of examples that say, hey, you know what? We're not going to play this game. We're not going to try to compete with these kids. We're not going to try to catch up with them on the tech race. We're going to stifle technology. We're going to stifle innovation. And we're going to give them 200 years or 2 life sentences if they beat us to the punch of a new market. We're seeing that here. And we saw it happen with Charlie Shrem as well. When, you know, he went to prison at the age of 23 years old for running a cryptocurrency company out of all things. So crazy. This is crazy. Oh, Tony Noli, hilarious. He had the keys to Fort Knox and he looted the front desk. Listen, hey, 50 Cent said you get the same amount of years for one body or 10. All right, it is what it is, people. He did have the keys to Fort Knox. But again, that shows you, this shows you how much of a kid this actually is. And I'm one of the people who say, hey, you know, you're old enough to make adult decisions. You're grown, especially, you know, once you hit that 18-year-old mark. Legally in the United States. But, you know, as a 17-year-old, he's a young adult, but this also shows his immaturity. He hacked into one of the largest platforms out there. And as you said, he just looted the front desk. These are kids. They're not thinking about going to the bank safe and getting everything all to gold. And no, they're just like, hey, we just are doing it because we want to see we're able to. This is why I say you shouldn't actually send these kids to prison. We should actually hire them. Like, they need to be working somewhere in the government. If you're 17, you're 19, you can do this. What happens when we put the state behind you, put resources behind you, and put you on that right road for the next 10 years? Granted, there was that one kid, I think, with the CIA that ended up, the hacker that we put to work, who ended up hacking us again. But that's like 1 in a million usually. So put these kids to work, right? Put them to work. All right. Here's another crazy story coming out of the crypto world. We're just stuffing this crypto movie full of just madness. Deceived crypto investors launched their own scam to recoup losses. That is right. Investors in China launched a crypto scam after being deceived themselves and got busted by the police. I mean, you can't make this up. You literally can't. It looks like Chinese police have reportedly arrested a group of scammers who launched a false crypto scheme to recoup the losses after being defrauded by a number of different crypto related cons themselves. So basically, some of the people in this scam were already scammed of over $14,000 in the crypto multi-level marketing scheme. After that, they basically joined forces and started doing other scams where they made almost $43,000 in profits from doing it to other people. Now, this is crazy to see, but I want to point this out because this is actually more common in the crypto space than you think. That's actually what's happening with a lot of these new scams. When you see all the little Twitter things that was going on for a while, when the Twitter accounts were being hacked, then next thing you know, it was like influencer accounts being hacked. I mean, it was just every level in the industry, those accounts were being hacked. Well, every level in the industry of accounts being hacked, that was the level of the different hackers. I mean, it was the same thing for your high-end hackers who's going after those $200 million pots of money, those exchanges and stuff. You know, those were the big name scams. But some of those people who got scammed understood what happened and was like, hey, we're just going to start a new company and do it ourselves, right? And that's where the exit scam thing came from. We're like, some of these companies aren't actually getting hacked. They're just hacking themselves. So it's one of those things where we're seeing more and more of this. But as I was talking about those levels, you see them get watered down more and more and more to the point you can see it where it's like, this thing is a misspelling and I'm getting a random email asking me to send over $1,000 in Bitcoin, right? But again, we have to point it out because it's happening in the space. It's unfortunate to see, but if you do get scammed, people, this is what Mike Tyson talks about. Taking that punch. Like, it sucks. I know it, but you got to take that punch. Do what you can to try to recoup it. Work on your security, figure out what happened, what went wrong, make sure it doesn't happen again. But sometimes you got to take that punch. But the thing you should not do is go into business of scamming other people, because then, hey, you place yourself in a very tough spot. For one, you're putting yourself amongst professionals. Some of these hackers and scammers, this is what they've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. And yeah, you definitely place yourself in harm's way when it comes to police and some of the people you will be scamming. All right, end this on a great news story. Square reports 600% increase in quarterly Bitcoin revenue. I love the photo they have right here of Jack Dorsey. That is the smuggest face of them all. I love it. I love it. But it looks like Square's Bitcoin business is continuing its rapid growth, with Q2 revenue up 600% year on year. That is crazy, people. Announced Tuesday, the San Francisco payments company said revenue made from selling Bitcoin to its Cash App customers in Q2 came to a total of $875 million, 6 times the amount in the same period in 2019. Again, Square stressed it only took a small margin. That small margin actually made them $17 million profit, up 711% year over year. So I want to point this out. This is something kind of Bitcoin Zay points out a lot. Just by having crypto in your business, you'll make money. Again, this is another shining example of that. 1 year, same time period, you're talking about 6 times your growth. That doesn't happen with traditional companies at all. And right now, technically Square being backed by Jack Dorsey, that is considered a traditional company. Possibly unicorn, albeit, but it's still a traditional company. So, and that's the same with their profit. A $17 million profit. You have a 711% profit over year. I mean, you talk about the Christmas bonus, people. It's going to be crazy. Because you imagine right now, think about how much money you made this year, and then multiply that by 711%. And think about how much more money that is, and just say that's how much you made in 1 year more. That's incredible, people. I mean, you're literally 7 times your money. And that just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And this is still the early stages of Bitcoin. So what happens when Bitcoin doubles again and more people start buying? What happens when it triples from right now? If it hits that $30,000 price from 711, it's what, 714 to what, 2100% at a minimum. So these same people will be up 2100% at a traditional company. Again, this is crazy, and this is all being powered by Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So another base hit from crypto is a big base hit, actually, because when Wall Street gets to talking, when they get to talking about what companies are we going to invest in, when San Francisco, when these incubators, when these startups start talking about where they want to put all their money at, right? People are going to start looking into the crypto industry. And again, as we always say, there aren't enough people in the industry right now. There aren't enough knowledgeable people. Just by you watching this, you're more knowledgeable than so many people out there. So the positive thing is, when all these businesses, when Silicon Valley, when Wall Street, when organizations, pension funds, when they come looking for places to invest and for people to invest in, all you have to do is raise your hand and say, oh yeah, I've been in the industry for X amount of years. I understand these basic principles, and you will literally have a check in your hands for the next big project out there. Let's see. Kent, let's see. Oh, okay. We'll go back to some of those in a moment. Some of those comments about the 17-year-old. Jason Jammin said, I see wallets now accepting credit cards. I always feel like when the wallet looks to corporate, it's probably being tracked now. Oh, for sure. If a wallet looks to corporate, it's definitely being tracked. I'm not sure who saw it, but Venmo. I received the notification from Venmo and the email from them recently that you're going to have to register with Venmo. Basically the same way you register with an exchange, you're going to have to register the same way with Venmo. So yeah, I mean, of course, that's being tracked by the government. You can't even do Venmo transactions online anymore. I actually suspect that's because of some of the regulations in the digital space, as we just talked about, where it's kind of easier for them just to take it off the platform than continuing to do it. Jeffrey Dickerson said, I would be reluctant to buy Bitcoin from Square. Exactly, people. If you buy Bitcoin from Square or anything like that, it's definitely like the noob way to go. But we're shouting it out for Jack Dorsey, of course. But also, it is a good introductory business, right? So it is similar to Coinbase. But the thing is, if you buy it off Square, you should be buying it to move it. You shouldn't be buying it to hold it in Square. You should be buying it to move it. And that's if you have to go that direction. Let's see. S1 Dub says, so that's why my Square stock has taken off. Would never buy crypto from Square though, right? Madam Crypto said, I agree. We live in the golden age of information. If you don't take the time to learn the anatomy of scams, then you deserve to get scammed. Yes, that is the price of admission. S1 Dubs, and this is what I think was going on with the Bitcoin price. I'm with you. The lower value of the dollar is starting to show up in the high prices on everyday goods. When the dollar finally collapses, the scams are going to go hyperbolic. You know, but the crazy thing is, I kind of wonder, like, I don't think it's going to, you know, I wonder, will it be a collapse? How hard the collapse will be, because the government has been doing a great job of kicking the can. And not just this administration, like the last few administrations, everybody's kicking the can like, not on my watch. Like, this bomb is not about to drop on my watch. I mean, to be honest, the 2008 financial, you know, economic collapse, that bomb really never dropped. Like, Obama bailed out a lot of companies and stuff, the same as all presidents do. But, you know, too big to fail. That was that time. So you remember, like, all these big car companies were getting bailed out. But that bomb never officially dropped either. So every president has just been kicking the can. This president's trying to do the same thing. But yes, it is supposed to drop. Whenever it actually does drop, it's going to be crazy. And again, that's what I refer to the Bitcoin price. It's like right now, again, it's one of those things where it shouldn't be like, it makes sense on a technical point for it to be high, but it should not be this high again. This is kind of looking like 2017 again. And with all this money flowing around, we could see it go higher. Doesn't mean it should be there. So when it actually settles down again, because again, some people forget this too. When it hits 18, 19, 20, people are selling again as well from 2 years ago. So we'll see what happens, right? We will need to see what happens. Okay, some more comments. Let me go back to some of these comments. They're talking about the 17 to 22 and 19-year-old Harold George said he wanted clout more than the money, at least the way he went about it. Hey, they always say that clout will make you go crazy, right? Do anything for the clout. Lucky Lloyd said Pizzagate celebs are walking around free as a bee. Oh man, listen, you already know. Definitely not seen no 200 years. They're committing suicide. Let's see. A. Kent said they'll end up putting them to work in prison doing exactly what you stated, free prison labor. Hey, look, man, he about to go in there like Shawshank Redemption. All right, he going to be in there like buddy with Morgan Freeman in there. Look, he gonna be, I can do your taxes for you. What y'all need me to go online? What you need me to do for you? You trying to create a MySpace profile? I can do all that for you guys. Yeah, man, they're going to love him in there. They put him in front of a computer. Let's see. Lucky Lloyd said, why don't Cash App have more crypto coins? So a lot of them, they're trying to go about it to the fact where they're like, these are either regulated or no one owns it, which is kind of why you see Bitcoin on there. I'm not sure what all they have on there, but it's like backward deals going on. It's kind of like being listed on exchanges, where at one point some people were saying exchanges were charging companies $1 million to be listed. So it's kind of the same thing with some of these companies. There's a lot of backroom deals going on. Some have allegiances with other people, and everyone's not getting along sometimes. So that's why you don't see all the coins on every platform. All right. Other than that, let's see a couple of last quick things. PFC Will said all the dough boy and dough girls about to have to find a new payment rail. Uncle Sam coming for their taxes. Anthony A. Kent said need to get certified to establish your credibility as a crypto expert. Better get it now. That is very true. Let's see. Moving from Cash App to San Maria, then we'll pull it out. All right. Other than that, people, that's the show for today. As always, thanks for the support. Make sure you smash that like and share. The podcast will be getting updated in the next 24 hours, so you can check all those episodes out also on iTunes Podcast, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Other than that, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.